You are not hunting right now, right?
I'm not. I was 2 days ago, and I will be tomorrow. But today I'm doing office work.
Is elk still in season right now?
It
Or what
is.
is
So in
in season right now?
Oregon, it is. Well, antlerless. So there's a damage hunt that's going on right now in certain areas of the state. Specifically, the area I'm in right now because it's a de-elk emphasis zone. And
What
so,
does that mean?
well, the elk are traditionally not in these areas, and they're almost entire. Well, they're all private. They're almost entirely ag fields or like cattle pastures, like grazing pastures for sheep, cattle, etc., or wheatland. And the elk just have started showing up in the last 20 years in drones. Like 2 days ago, when I was out with a hunter, we saw probably throughout the day, we probably saw 2,500 animals.
What?
And I'm not exaggerating.
And this is
I'm
in
not.
a D elk zone, i.e., they're not. They
Yes.
want to
Yeah.
reduce
So they,
numbers.
yeah, it's pretty bad. I know that it's been brought to the state's attention. We've got quite a few issues with it, but our biggest challenge right now is that because there's certain areas of the state that are not de-elk emphasis zones, people hear that there's these de-elk emphasis zones and they immediately think, oh, this is my backyard. These people are killing all of these cows in my backyard, and that's why the elk population is dropping so significantly. But the areas where these elk are, the majority of the animals just stay there. And then, of course, we get the wintering herds and the migratory groups that show up, usually late November, early December, depending on the weather. This year it's been unseasonably warm, so we haven't had as much damage yet, but it's very quickly piling up.
Are people saying that you are taking too many elk in these zones? Is that what people are complaining about? These are hunters complaining about you're taking too many elk. We want more elk in the landscape.
I've heard this. There's been multiple arguments. Some people, I mean, frankly,
These
we
aren't
could be,
depredation tags.
these are depredation tags.
Depredation tags
Yes,
for ag or depredation tags for the de-emphasis of elk in these areas, or both.
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 Yes, they're doing that for both. So I've heard some of it, I think, is just because a lot of this opportunity, all of it actually is on private ground, and so there's some animosity there. I public land hunt myself. I understand the frustrations with that, but these elk are not leaving this property. They're not leaving the neighboring properties. They're not going back. We actually haze them year round with helicopters, drones, side by sides, pickups, all
Wow.
kinds of and air horns, everything we can use to push them back onto public land. And they just follow us right back.
Is the agriculture just too enticing of a resource for them, I assume?
There's the only predator they have in this area is people.
What about wolves?
They don't have
Don't you
to
have a
fight.
shit ton of wolves in Oregon?
No, there's a lot of wolves, but in these de-elk emphasis zones, the wolves really aren't there. Like it's ag land, it's closer to people. The wolves will trap. You'll get one traveling through, but the elk can see for miles out here, and so they
Okay.
can. The lions aren't there. The bears aren't there. The wolves very rarely leave the timberline, and the elk feel safe. So why would? And they've got plenty of food. The temperature's more mild, other than the summers. It gets like 110, 120 degrees sometimes, but they like it. I get it. It makes sense why they want to stay, and the calf retention has been incredibly high, which is fantastic. Except that we're trying to lower the numbers, and so it's a little frustrating, and it's hard to have this conversation with someone who may hunt other units that are well below management objective, like for instance Minam, or even like our trophy units like Walla Walla, Wenaha. The Walla Walla side, because that area, there's a Walla Walla unit in Oregon, and then there's units around Walla Walla right on state line on the Washington side that have had a less than 1% calf retention rate for years.
Is that like the blue elk herd or the blue, what do they call it, right? Yeah.
Blue Mountain
Blue Mountains.
Range,
Yeah.
up there. And it's almost entirely from mountain lions.
Right.
And that's what their studies have shown. And so, the elk are plummeting there. It's only a matter of time before the herd is just decimated. Meanwhile, just a mere 40 miles away, we have so many, we're like, please get them out of here. Like, any means necessary. And
has there not been any conversations at the state level or NGO level for if there's too many elk in a de-emphasized elk zone to say, okay, hey, why don't we capture 100 or capture 500 and move them into like a Washington State area or those Walla Walla areas?
So I've pitched that. If I got a response, it was, that's going to cost too much money.
Yeah, well, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, that's what they do.
Yeah, so there's lots, and I was like, what if we were able to, collectively do a haze where we, take, because I've done hazes with ODF and W, they come out and help sometimes. We have neighboring landowners who all work together. It's literally like a wall of farmers and ranchers pushing elk back onto public ground. Like, what if we were to do that and push them to the northeast, like where we want more of them? And I was just told that's not going to work. But it doesn't seem like there's any effort to prove me wrong. It's just, I think you're wrong and we're not going to do that.
Yeah, too logistically challenging, too much money to solve a problem that we have. Yeah,
and it's really unfortunate because the animals we have are extremely healthy. They're fat, they're happy, they're having a really good life over here, and I would be more than happy the landowners I work for would love it if someone came and took 200 to 400 head and moved them out of here. It wouldn't change our success rates at all if they were to do that.
Yeah. Well, Hannah Mabbott, Hunting Operation Manager of Hunt Oregon, welcome to the Origins Foundation podcast. It's taken a while for us to lock this baby down.
I know. You've been super busy. You just got back from Florida, right?
I got back from everywhere.
Yeah, you've been all over the place. But yeah, and then, seasons, I can't say it's winding down, but it's a lot less chaotic right now.
Are you going to go to the show? Because I met you at Hunt Expo last year, which is in like 8 weeks time. Are you planning to do that, or just like stay at home, take a break after the season?
So, I'm not sure at this time. I've got a couple hunters. I know I've got a group of bird hunters that are going to be around, but I could have someone take care of them. I just haven't decided if I want to take the time off to go down. It's a great show, great experience, super fun to meet a bunch of people and network and whatnot. But I don't know yet. I just haven't decided. But I'll probably just say, oh, whatever, and go down like for a day or two. We'll see on a whim.
So, as the title of Hunting Operation Manager, are you everything of Hunt Oregon? Is it you? Is it a company? Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the company itself was started by one of the family members of the ranch about 10 years ago now. And he's just really passionate for hunting. This ranch has been in that family for well over 100 years. They kind of helped settle the area, specifically like the Pendleton, Pilot Rock area.
Okay.
And, they have this very large landmass, and they're like, why don't we? Because they had been doing leases for a while. So he's like, why don't we just
hunt it ourselves? Yeah, guide ourselves. How big's the property?
Well,
are you allowed to say?
The property that I guide on specifically is just under 100,000 acres.
Okay. It's big.
Yeah.
It's big.
It's
okay.
Big. And there's other landowners out there that have, like there's one of the neighboring ranches is 50,000 acres and it's just one giant piece. It's all collective because It's a lot of ground, but there's a lot of it's like
Oh, it's not
broken up.
contiguous.
Yeah,
It's
so
not
you've got like
contiguous. It's all broken up. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. You've got like a 10,000 acre pasture over here. You've got like a 4,000 acre piece here. Like it's pretty broken up. Not saying it's not a lot of property, but it's a lot.
Still
of
a lot of property. What's the
Yes,
radius?
absolutely.
Like if you had to leave from like a base and draw like a circle, are we talking like 2 hour drive from a base, 4 hour drive to get everything looked at, taken care of?
So it depends. So if they have pieces of ground in 4 different hunting units that are all like kind of cornered into like Pendleton essentially. So it depends on which area in the ranch you're going to. But if you were to start in Pendleton, you could hit the southern end of the ranch in an hour. You could hit the western end of the ranch in about 35, 40 minutes. And then the eastern end in about 40 minutes.
Doesn't Pendleton have like a crazy little, maybe not so
Rodeo?
little,
Yeah.
rodeo? Yes.
Yeah. It's a huge rodeo. Yeah. It's a big
Jeez.
deal.
And it happens in the elk season, like middle of
Right in the
September,
middle of our
end of September, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I know that is a lot of people don't know this because I keep my hunting pretty private. I was lucky enough to draw a non-resident tag in the Mount Emily unit.
Oh. Mm-hmm. When was this?
This was
They do have ground in Emily.
2024. 2024. It was prior to me meeting you.
Bummer.
And I killed an amazing bull elk with Steve West. And the famous, I think they're called like the shoestring pack, the wolf shoestring, the famous wolf pack, came into the drainage that my bull was in, that we were looking for him the next morning, and got to him before we did, and we couldn't find the bull. But 2 weeks later, Steve stumbled across the bull, and I've got him downstairs. Just incredible. It was an incredible week.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Emily is a fantastic unit.
and so I
mean,
drove
they've
from LeGrand because Oregon was having a commission meeting. ODFW was having a commission meeting about the spring bear hunt and changing quotas on the spring bear hunt. And I was like, well, I'm in the state. I'll give verbal testimony. And so I drove across, and then on the way back, obviously it drove through Pendleton, and on the way back I drove through Pendleton, and it was like 6 o'clock at night or 6:30 at night, and it was nuts.
Yeah, no, it is
Because
a
rodeo
mess.
was on in town.
Yeah, they have like well over 100,000 people that show up in this town of like 18,000 people for a week, and I mean, they've got Pendleton Whiskey Music Fest. They've got all kinds of things. They've branded that city very well. Pendleton Wool, which actually the company that I work for, they're a huge supplier of Pendleton wool because it was a sheep company.
So the company is still very much a multi-use company, multi-land use company.
Yeah, so cattle, they have a little bit of timber going on, sheep, there's some farming, and then hunting, of course. And they're tapping into energy a little bit, but things have changed with that as far as politically, so we'll see.
Are you hunting yourself everything? Like what's in season is being guided?
Yes. Yeah, so we do spring turkey, spring bear, archery elk and deer, rifle elk and deer. If you run into a fall bear or a mountain lion, go ahead. We always have our archery guys get the tags. It's only $16, so you might as well get it, even for non-residents. And yeah, if you get an opportunity, but it's a little difficult because as far as like fall bear and fall lion goes, you can't bait, you can't use dogs. And if you were to take the time to take someone on a fall bear hunt, you're taking away from the time where you could be taking care of more grass feeders, more elk. And so that's our priority. But I've taken people out, like if they fill their tag in like the first couple hours of their hunt, the next day we'll go look for a bear. But yeah, the priority is definitely elk.
How long have you been, I'll ask this in a two-part question. Born and raised in Oregon?
Yeah, born and raised in Oregon. went to college in Oregon, was living in Idaho for a while, and when this job opportunity came to be, I moved back from Idaho.
Always wanted to be this? Always wanted to be a hunting guide in the hunting sector?
Nope. I was actually working on my master's degree in public health and like MBA kind of pathway.
So what's your degree? What's your bachelor's in?
My bachelor's is actually in public health.
Okay. With an interest in what from that perspective?
So actually,
what did you want to do with it?
Yeah, I was going more of like a med school nurse anesthetist route, and then I kind of wanted to get more into the business aspect of things, and so I wanted to eventually like run a hospital or a clinic, and so I was working on like the business side of that, but still focusing on medical. But I got out of that right about COVID time, and that was when I got this job, which the stars aligned for that one, because being in public health during COVID would have been a nightmare.
It's weird, man. Like, you know, you ask people like their trajectories to where they get to. And a lot of people come they come out of the middle of nowhere, which essentially is you. But your background, have hunted, your dad, mom, I'm not going to assume who took you hunting. Obviously been outdoors, been hunting your entire life.
Yeah, been hunting the whole time. And Dad introduced us to it. My parents are definitely ungulate hunters. Like they're both hard workers. Like they both worked a lot during our childhood, and so our family vacations we're going on a salmon fishing trip, or it's deer season, so I'm going to take a couple days off work and we're going to go deer hunting, or we're going to go elk hunting. And so those were very positive memories for me as a kid. And it was very trial by fire, because my dad was like, this is how I learn, this is how you're going to learn. And so I made a lot of mistakes at a young age, and very quickly learned how to not make those mistakes. It was very humbling being like one of the people in camp that didn't tag out. And
did you feel pressure? Obviously, everyone's hearing that. Obviously, you're a woman, you're a female in the space. It's for some reason there's an added barrier of entry for you guys somehow. For some reason, did you feel that in those times where you're like, I need to make sure I'm not messing up, or did mess up, or learning the lessons?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been, like, I was a 3-sport athlete when I was a kid, and then when I was in high school, I mostly just focused on volleyball, and I did that year round, so I was always in athletics. So the hiking and, like, that aspect, I could always keep up with everyone, or, like, you know, out hike, whatever. And it was more just trying to fit in, and it seemed like in that environment the best way to fit in was to be as proficient as everybody, at least when I was younger. But now, like when I was in college, when I had transferred from the University of Portland to Eastern, I was able to get back into hunting, because when I was a student athlete, there's no time
for
that at all. And so,
were you playing volleyball at the collegiate level?
I was actually rowing crew.
Oh,
yeah, crew from the University of Portland. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm 6'2", so I've got the leverage. It was a good fit. But yeah, so when I transferred and had a lot more free time, when I wasn't going to school or working, because I always wanted to, you know, I don't want to take out a lot of student loans, and I made a few friends at the school I transferred to that also hunted, and we just would go out all the time. We ended up skipping class quite a bit, and just we wanted to do something different. So I had friends that, you know, wanted to go call for lions or do this and that, and that was not something I grew up doing. And so, you know, like widening your perspective on the types of hunts you do makes you just overall a much better hunter. And I started helping friends out, friends' families, started kind of guiding on the side, and then an outfitter took me in and kind of trained me properly on how to do that more efficiently. And I had some pretty awesome mentors that taught me how to shoot long range and a few things like that, and I just got better at it. And then this opportunity presented itself, and I threw my name in the hat. I still, to this day, don't know why I got it as a I think I was 24 at the time when the job was offered.
And the
to
job
me.
was obviously a big part of the job is guiding people.
It's a huge part. So there's advertising, booking, property maintenance, scouting. Like there's so many aspects to this job, but one of the main, especially this time of the year, is guiding. And I had never guided at that scale before. Like, I'd go help out with a cow hunt for like two day hunts, like twice a month, something like that. But this is like in and out. You've got a group of 6 hunters, you're doing a double, and the day they
when you say you're doing a double,
taking
two hunters to you as the guide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like taking doubles and then going out the next day, and it isn't as easy. Like I know at the beginning of this we're talking about how many elk are here. That's just right now. Like it's still elk hunting. Other times of the year, especially when the migratory herds are gone and it's just the herds that are here and they've been hunted for years, so they kind of know what's going on. You still have to, hunt, and you have to hunt to your hunter's abilities, which a lot of people come out and they're like, I can't shoot past 200 yards. And I'm like, we're going to work on that. Mm-hmm. But we're still going to get you an animal. And so our shot opportunity is 100%. We're really proud of that, but we work really hard to keep that.
Yeah, I think people here, in our community, you've heard this before, 100% shot opportunity or 100% guarantee. Mm-hmm. It almost denigrates it, that it's like, well, this isn't really hunting anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the guys out a couple days ago, and one of the first comments, because we went on a stalk, and again, we're seeing these elk from miles away. It's pretty open, but we've got rolling hills and whatnot, and you can only get so close to them before, if they see a truck or a side-by-side, that's a death machine for them, so they don't put up with it. They'll take off from over a mile away. And so we get down in the canyon below them, we look up on the hill, and they're probably about 1,000 yards away. And so we got out and hike, and we have to, have like a probably 600-foot elevation gain, pretty straight up, to get around behind them, so our wind is good. And I mean, we got within 80 yards of them, but there was a little bit too much movement, and they spooked, and we didn't. Anyway, that stalk didn't work. We ended up tagging later, but
100% shot opportunity means that you hunt. It doesn't mean that you,
yes,
open the truck door, walk 200 yards. There's the elk.
Yeah, we're not baiting them. We're not. Yeah, they're not going to be hung up on the fence lines. It's not high fence. These are wild animals. We're still working, but yeah. And I do have that conversation with any new hunters. About 75% of the hunters that are here are return hunters every year. A little bit more than that sometimes, but almost everyone comes back. But they know what the expectation is. But when we have new hunters, I have to explain, like, you need to be able to do these things. It's a very physical hunt. We'll try to cater to your limitations, but there's only so much we can do.
Hannah, I'm going to speak to the elephant in the room that you have to address probably every single time a new male hunter comes into camp. Is they walk in, there's a 6'2" blonde girl who's attractive, and she says, "I'm your guide. I'm taking you elk hunting." How many? I can just imagine the people's faces, guys' faces, going, "Yeah, no, that's not. That's
yeah.
We'll guide you. You just help us. Tell us where the elk are. You
just drive around." Yeah, I mean, the first couple of years.
Did you have to prove yourself? Again, is what I'm. It's again. We're talking these hurdles, right? The barriers. I wouldn't have that barrier.
Yes, it was the first year. Was very difficult. There was. I actually ended up deleting my personal social medias for a while. There was a bit of cyberbullying going on, and there were a lot of negative things being said about my capabilities as like a hunter or like
Just
why are
because
you
of
there?
outward
Just
appearances.
yeah,
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and everyone has stigmas, but I don't have that issue anymore. Like people know like when they show up, and I worked very hard to make sure my track record shows like I'm gonna get you the animal, or at least get you as many opportunities as it takes you to get one, and it's not gonna be a problem. But yeah, that's definitely an issue that used to occur. Definitely not now. And if it is still a thing, the second I'm like gutting their animal out, it's gone. That's not a problem anymore.
Is it more of like once you get into the field and they see how capable you are, those perceptions disappear? I assume also, walk up that mountain for the first time and I don't know, I remember somebody telling me like an anecdote saying, okay, I don't care what you think about me, but my legs are going to do the talking when I get on that mountain. And I'm going to walk you, you're not walking them
into the dirt.
I'm going to walk into the dirt. I'm going to walk into the ground and I'm going to walk hard and I'm going to get to the top and I'm going to wait for you. And you're going to be huffing and puffing. And by the time you get here, you're like, all right, let's go. Let's keep going. And very quickly, they're going to realize, okay. My perception of you is not what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it's and that's I really haven't had to do that in a long time. When I was younger and still brand new at this specific position, that was kind of an issue. And I remember one guy in particular, because ultimately at the end of the day, this is hospitality, and so I'm trying to give you the best experience possible as well. And that's different for everybody, of course. Like some guys want to like talk shop, and other guys they want it to be more of like a, I don't know, I don't want to use the word Eastern style hunt, but like handshake after the gun goes off, kind of a very proper, and we can cater to all of that. But one guy, I had heard him make some comments about me in camp, and he didn't know I was in the other room, and he wasn't sure about my capabilities because it was our first time hunting together. I think I was only about 25. So the next day I hiked him 17 miles. He did not like that. He actually sat in a tree stand the entire day after that because he was too stoved up. And I was fine. It was not a problem.
Man.
But yeah, at the end of the day, he was like, my feet hurt so bad. I can't feel my like calves. And I like check my steps and I'm like, yeah, today was kind of rough, wasn't it? Anyway, see you in the morning.
Oh man, I love that. That's just proof in the pudding right there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's pretty funny.
How long have you been? So you've been in this position now. How long?
So I've been here. This will be my 6th season.
Okay, so 6 seasons. I want to talk a little bit about obviously Oregon and wildlife and prey population dynamics that you're seeing in Oregon. We know that they're not the easiest state to work in from a hunting perspective. Not as bad as Washington State. But,
no, Washington is, I feel bad for him. That's rough.
But for instance, no mountain lion hunting with dogs or bait. It's very opportunistic, right? And the take rate is super, super low. You do mule deer hunting as well. Mm-hmm. Every single unit, as I understand it, in Oregon is below objectives tied to mule deer.
Significantly.
Somebody that's on the ground daily, almost daily, obviously through the hunt season daily, what's going on?
So it's a plethora of things. I know that a lot of people are like, it's the wolves, it's the lions, it's this, it's that. It's all of the above. Mule deer are not as efficient breeders as other deer species, and I also personally have seen mule deer does do less to protect their fawns than, let's say, a cow elk or even a whitetail doe. Whitetail does are pretty aggressive mamas. Like, they do a good job, but I've seen mule deer does, the second a coyote's running at them, just run away. And that's not every single one, but, I've seen it enough times to where I'm like, girl, come on, like, help him. He can't do anything. But I think Predation is a massive problem. A lot of that has to come back to like the 1995 repeal of hound hunting and baiting for bears and lions, because our populations of both of those are well above management objective, to the point where Oregon, if you draw a spring bear tag, you can actually kill 3 bears in this state. You can get a spring and 2 fall. All those tags are $16. If you're listening to this, come kill some bears.
Come to Oregon.
Yeah, we got a lot of them.
And is it easy to draw that tag?
It's over the counter.
Over the counter,
fall.
$16 for fall.
Yeah, for fall. $16 over the counter, both tags. Spring is a draw. That draw is actually going on right now. You have basically the month of January, a couple days in February to apply. Those tags are super fun to get. They're getting a little harder to get because they're getting popular, which it's a bummer because I want to go every year. Not a bummer because of how many people want to go. That means that they're eager to go.
So why if you've got such a high bear density, and I would assume Oregon biologists know this, they've got the data, they've got the research, and I know that that whole commission meeting that I was in October of 24 was debating increasing bear quotas in respective units. Mm-hmm. Has there not been another question asked of the commission to increase quota allocations?
What gets brought up is that the fall tags are over the counter, and as many people that want to come in out of state as possible can hunt them. There's no limit on that. And so that's what they keep coming back to. I think they're just concerned with just losing the bear hunting opportunity in its entirety. Because obviously we saw that with Washington State, their spring bear season, which was just kind of pulled the rug out from under them with that one. That's a huge bummer. Hopefully they can get that back. It seems like there's a few lawsuits in place, but yeah. So I think they're most concerned about that. We know that the easiest time of the year to kill bears and hunt bears is in the spring, so it would be really awesome if we did a quota system with that, moved it to a quota system. Doesn't seem like there's much interest in changing things.
Yeah, the appetite is not there. Plus the whole denning, coming out the den, sows and cubs.
Yeah. A lot of people think that the hunters are out to kill no one wants a cub, everyone wants a big boar. Mm-hmm. That's what everyone's after. No one's after the little ones. They want the big boar, they want a beautiful hide, they want really delicious spring bear meat. Oregon conveniently has a lot of areas that are covered in wild onions in the spring, so the meat can actually be kind of fragrant. I know my last spring bear here he was eating onions when I got him, but yeah, it's a frustrating situation. But yeah, the bear population's high. The lion population is also much higher than it arguably should be. And they're really the apex predator. Like bears will push lions off their kills, wolves will push lions off their kills, but the lions can just keep killing because they're so good at it. They're an incredible predator. And they're quiet. You're probably never going to see one. I know lots of people that have spent their entire lives in the woods that have never come across a lion. And I've seen them, I wouldn't say regularly, but once or twice a year I have some sort of run-in. I know last archery season, one of my guides was hunting with his client down in a canyon, and they came around a corner to a male lion pulling his face out of a calf that he had just killed. Like blood was still coming out of the calf.
Wow.
And my guide was trying to get his pistol out, and he looks at his hunter who's vibrating. He's like, oh my God. But yeah, so we have run-ins with him. That was at like 10 yards maybe.
Jeez, so even close. Crazy.
Oh yeah, really close. So he couldn't get his pistol out fast enough, and there was no arrow knocked, so it was just kind of a whole thing. And if we hadn't had a hunter there, we would have probably tried to target that lion. I don't think he went too far, but yeah, so we have run-ins with him, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. So we need to be harvesting more of those to help.
What about habitats? Obviously, I've heard a lot about mule deer habitats and habitat connectivity issues tied to mule deer. Is that something that has changed? So in the last 6 years that you've been operating in this role, what has that looked like?
So the habitat where I am is about the same. I think that there's a really significant habitat issue in the higher altitude areas. And I'm not talking about Central Oregon, because Central Oregon, yes, there's an expansion of people in that area because a lot of out-of-staters are moving to the Bend area because it's a really cool place. But I'm talking about like timber ground and whatnot. There's a pretty big lack of feed. A lot of that has to do with the lack of logging. So there's just these really dense thickets all over the place that you can't even walk through. There's no feeds. There's no reason for a deer to be there. And if a deer was to go there, they're really easy to get picked off by a predator because predators can kind of weave in and out of there, and the deer are going to kind of get stuck. So there's no real incentive for a deer to be up in. A lot of these are like wilderness areas, public land areas, because there's no food. So that's definitely part of it.
Is that just a result of a lack of management? Is that just a result of a lack of management from a public perspective and a private perspective, or just?
It's both, but it's mostly a public issue because most of that is happening on public ground. Because even where we are, like on the ranch I work for, they do active thinning. And so they're constantly clearing. And a lot of that's for grazing because they put the cows in those areas in the summer, but the wildlife love it. Oh, the deer and elk are all over it. But those areas where they don't do that, you won't find a deer.
Yeah, it's a, we see the same thing happening over here in the southeast areas. Obviously elk have done very, very well over here. But, the forests are climaxing to the point where nobody's actually managing them anymore. And you need these clear cuts. You almost like, it's a big tornado or a big front comes through and knocks down a bunch of big trees and opens up a big clearing, yet all of this regrowth and pioneer species coming into the system that, we all know that, like clear cuts, the breaks between different age classes of forest systems, they always hold animals, they always hold wildlife because of the resources that are on the landscape.
Yeah, it's really important to do that. Or, as destructive as they are, the wildfires do incredible things for game. I know that Oregon a couple years ago had a historically tragic, over 1 million acres lost wildfire season. But that ground the next year and the year after is so fertile. There's beautiful green shoots everywhere. The animals are all over it. It's providing great nutrients. And it did clear out in certain areas, granted, not all of it was timber ground, but in the areas where there was thick reprod timber, it opened the landscape back up for these animals to come back and thrive. And it benefits everything from, the birds, the squirrel species, deer, bears eat grass. Like it's very important.
Yeah, fire has been vilified for some reason as a management tool. It's very, very common as a management tool in Africa. It's used all the time. Australia as well. Well, Australia near the urban areas, not so much. But in the Northern Territory, you'll see the Aboriginals just drop matches. They'll just burn the veld, or the bush because they know it's good for it. And the reason why you have a devastating 1 million acre fire is because the lack of fire management. That should be a mosaic. That landscape should be a mosaic of, this 200,000 acres burned 5 years ago. Oh, this 300,000 burnt a year ago. Oh, this 300,000 burnt last year. And so now you've got this patchwork of various age classes of vegetation with various fuel densities. Then when the next fire hits,
it's not going to burn there.
It burns 150,000 acres of pocket areas, right?
Exactly.
And so you've got this constant movement, constant succession, constant sort of climax regeneration system that for some reason is just not being, and again, the public land system, unfortunately, in America, for how great it is so significantly underfunded. And even, being exploited now to we see, the public land debate all the time right now in the news.
Oh, yeah, that's so wild. It was like such a crazy concept to do that. And some of the points, like I understood a very little bit of where he was coming from, like specifically Senator Lee.
Yeah.
But the worst possible take on fixing that problem was selling off giant swaths of land to be developed where they couldn't even, I mean, some of those areas you couldn't get heavy machinery in there. Like, what are you actually going to do with that? They just want to privatize it.
Yeah, it's a resource extraction point of view, protocol, viewpoint, mindset, whatever you want to call it. It's very much, I get it, right? I get the whole America first. I get the whole, like, we need to utilize the resources we have at our disposal. But, one of the things that makes us great makes this system so great is the public land. Like, I didn't have that. I don't have that in South Africa. There's not a single stitch of public land that you can hunt on in South Africa. Not a single square inch of public land that you can hunt on in South Africa. Okay?
Yeah.
So I came out to Cody, Wyoming, and they drove me out of town, and they stopped on this like little dirt triangle next to the road, and they're like, yep, we're just going to walk over here. And I said, this is public?
We can do this?
Yeah, we can do this. They're like, yeah, we'll just walk up to that mountain right there. And off we went. And it was amazing, right? And you can carry a gun in there on with the regulations of whatever season's in place. And even if it's not a season, you can carry a gun in there and target shoot. Like, that's you're allowed to. Like, that's what you can do, whatever. Yeah. And it's not just somebody that, like you, who's an American, born and bred, like me, who's become an American citizen, but somebody from Australia can arrive in Cody, Wyoming, or wherever they want, park their car, and go walking. Because of the system that is put in place. So that's what makes America magical and what makes our wildlife management model magical. However, at the same breath, we do need resources and funding to be able to manage the resource that we have, the public land, for the trust, for the community, for the people of America, but also the people of the world.
Exactly. Yeah, it's something that we shouldn't take for granted. It's our privilege and our right as Americans to utilize this land to the extent that we see fit. Obviously, regulations are very important because you don't want people just trashing it and destroying, these areas. But we need to treat them with respect and reinvest back into them so they can continue to provide for the next few generations. Which comes back to your point about mule deer in Oregon. And I've said this for years now. I'm a little bit of a broken record, but a renewable resource is only renewable if you allow it to be.
What do you mean in terms of mule deer?
So there's definitely areas in the state where the population density has been minimized for years now. It's been significantly lower than its management objective for a long time. And they were still issuing thousands of tags for this area. There's probably not 1,000 deer in that unit. Never mind $1,000. Like, there's probably like $400, $500 in. I mean, there's so many units. They just oriented all of the mule deer units in the eastern side of the state, anything east of the Cascades, for this year. So we're going to see how that kind of plays out. But there's quite a few units that I know of where, I mean, they were giving out thousands of archery tags, thousands of rifle tags. They had opportunities for muzzleloader, or they had even doe tags in these areas where it was like, why are you giving doe tags if there's hardly any deer around? You're getting rid of the moms. Like, they need to be able to reproduce. And they're not allowing that resource to renew. So,
yeah, and I think, to the point of what you're saying, you're a hunter, you're a hunt operations manager of a game ranch that's sizable. If the state said to you, based on population surveys, again, I don't know how often ODFW is looking at surveys of numbers of mule deer. But if they came to you and they said, we're going to have to reduce the quota of mule deer in this unit because there's no mule deer, I don't think there's many hunters out there of the right ilk that said, yeah, you're right, you should be.
Yeah. And the argument I keep hearing from the state, and I've told them, I'm like, I'm an outfitter, I'm a guide. Please cut deer tags. Please. Because even on the ranch that I'm guiding on, my first year, I saw so few bucks. There were bucks, a lot more than you would see probably on public land, but there was not numbers, and there's still not numbers and size of what should be there. And I told them, please cut tags. I'm only taking 5 buck hunters of fallout. That specific
So
year.
what are you doing? Let me ask this then. Let me turn the tables a little bit on you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're recognizing this problem, and the ranch recognizes this problem, you just said we're only taking 5 buck mule deer hunters out. What could you be taking?
On the 70,000 acres that I deer hunt, because there's only sections that I get, the owners of the ranch like to deer hunt as well, and they have their areas. On the section of ranch I'm taking, we have management hunts and we have trophy hunts, and we take very few trophy hunters. We take 1 or 2. I think this year we might be doing 3 because I've personally seen the population be able to sustain this because of the model we're doing. We're seeing bucks that I remember seeing when I was brand new to this job, because they've got, throat patches, ear drooping, like all these. We can pattern these deer. They live in the same areas that are gorgeous mature trophy deer now. I'm like, okay, we can start harvesting a few of these now, providing some hunter opportunity. So we'll take maybe 3. And trophy size, I'm talking like 170 plus.
Okay.
But we do.
I've never shot a mule deer, so I assume that's big.
It's pretty good size.
Okay, good.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
And yeah, so a management buck for us is still a mature deer. We want those older bucks, but we don't want maybe their specific genetics. So like there was one buck we killed a few years ago that was like a 30-inch wide 3x5. Everyone wants like the big 4. They want a 4 with kickers. They want all these fun things. They want a high score, either Boone and Crockett or Pope and Young. And we do have some genetics that are just never going to produce that. And so those are the some people call it culling.
Yeah.
We call it management bucks, but some places say you're going to shoot a management buck and they're shooting basket 4 points that in 2 or 3 years would be a beautiful trophy buck. Those are what you want to stay. You want those to keep breeding does. And those younger bucks actually do a really great job of servicing does. I've seen a few places on the property where there will be a group of 8 or 9 does and a beautiful 3-year-old 140-inch 4x5 or 4-point that in a few years is going to be a great buck. But he's, taking care of all those does, whereas on another section of ranch there's one old crusty doe and this giant trophy buck standing over her, and he's not going to leave her for days. So he's only focusing on one, when this guy's like quantity over quality, or however you want to put it. But so we want to do both of those hunts to kind of turn our genetics.
So is that what you feel is the success now for you guys for mule deer? Is that your program is, we're not taking these young 4s, 4x, and letting them, giving them more time instead of whacking them before they get to maturity? Is that the plan? Has that been the plan?
The plan, yeah, that's part of it. Another part of it is just taking fewer deer, allowing more deer to, I don't take doe hunters out, allowing more deer to reproduce, doing predator control pretty consistently, especially coyotes in the spring. Again, in those areas, we don't really have the lion and bear issues, and so it's just coyotes. Little golden eagle sometimes too, but I don't really worry about those as much. We still do have them out there. But yeah, so taking fewer deer, giving them time to come to maturity, and very selective harvest, and taking far fewer deer than what we arguably could. It doesn't feel right to be taking a ton of deer off the landscape. And our population has turned around. I've actually worked with some of the other neighboring landowners because these animals are constantly crossing back and forth, and they're, reducing their numbers as well. And
everyone's winning. Everyone's winning.
We're benefiting.
Well, and you're benefiting now, but 10 years time, you're going to be even more from a benefiting position.
Yeah. But we're just one little section of private land. Over, the entirety of the state, that's just not happening. And I see so often, people posting pictures of this deer that I don't even know how they could tell that it had horns. And that's fine, but you're maybe getting 30 pounds, 40 pounds of meat. So you're not filling your freezer. You just removed a breeder from the landscape. That deer may not even have been able to breed a doe yet. Like, he may have this was going to be his first year of maybe even getting in the pool, and he's not able to now. So I'm not sure if if just an overall significant tag reduction is what we need to do. I think yes, but also I think there's more to it than that. Maybe an antler restriction, or I don't know. There's so many ways you could go about it, but I just think fewer deer need to come off the landscape.
Yeah, it's a tough conundrum. That guy that is shooting that spike mule deer buck. Again, you don't know the circumstances. This is his first hunt. Is it the only opportunity that he got to go out? It's the only deer that he saw.
Yeah, and those, first deer, all that is great, but I've seen some people that every year they go out and shoot a spike right off the road, and I'm like, do you need to do that? Like, are you sure?
Are there other opportunities for that hunter?
Bear.
Yeah, but it's so hard.
I hate to constantly come back to that, but there's, that's a big one.
I guess it's so difficult. Like, in my brain, I say it's so hard to get a bear. But that's what hunting should be. But also you want opportunities to be there to take animals, because that's what you want to do. You want to fill your freezer.
Yeah. And there's
it's a tough conundrum, right?
Exactly. And the meat's different. Like, you're not going to, cook a bear steak medium rare like you could a deer. Like, you just...
Well,
really
you could. You could.
You're just gonna suffer for that one a little bit. But, I constantly make the argument to people, like, I know a lot of people, and I grew up doing this myself. My parents were like, don't shoot a bear. They're gross. We don't even want to deal with them. But I've come to the mindset, if I'm going to be harvesting a deer or an elk, an ungulate, I should also remove predators from the landscape, because I removed one of its prey. So, to help the other prey species, I'm going to harvest a predator. And I ask people all the time that are, they'll go spend all their free time and time off work, vacation, whatnot, deer hunting or elk hunting. And I'm like, you could be doing that with these other species and putting in just as much, maybe arguably less effort, tagging out, and also helping the deer and elk in those units. Like, whatever your favorite elk or deer unit is, I challenge you to go get a predator out of there, even if it's a coyote. Like, you're going to be helping overall those ungulates in that area and improving your success rate down the line if you do that.
Yeah, it's a good strategy.
Usually the opportunity is like someone shoots a bear because it ran across the road in front of them, or shoots a lion because it was eating something that they found that was dead. And that's all great, but you could also just go out with the intent of hunting one of these.
Yeah, and also, you as you said, you it's $16, right? So if you're going deer hunting and elk hunting, buy a $16 bear tag, put it in your back pocket. You want to hunt, you're there to hunt. The more things you can hunt, the better. Man, you got like a massive truck rolling by, or a train rolling by.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's gone now. I think it was like a street cleaner or something.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
But yeah, you're out there to hunt. So hunt. And, do some predator management whilst you're there. It's part of the experience. You get, when something's slow, you try something else. as you said, if you tag out early, keep hunting, and you're putting money in the coffers of the Game and Fish Agency of that respective state at the same time. So,
yeah, it's the deer thing is so there's so many facets to it, but it just comes back to and you're always hearing people say, well, it's not like it used to be. I used to see deer here all the time.
Now, when was that? 1980, 1990?
Yeah, so
and how many people were in the state of Oregon then?
Yeah, a lot less people, less hunters, less pressure. The weapons you were using at that time could not hit the ranges that, these modern scopes and rifles. That's a huge part of it, too, because guys are dropping bombs on deer at 800 yards. And that was just not a thing back then.
Street cleaner coming back.
I think so. He needs to go away, go north. But yeah, the opportunity for deer in Oregon, we still have great genetics here. There's still deer around, but it's, of course, not what it used to be. But I think that as a collective, just as hunters, we should take it upon ourselves to try to fix that, because it's clear that it's not happening at the state level.
For those that have been listening to this that want to hunt Oregon, best way to hunt Oregon, tell them.
As in, like, hunting with me, or just hunting in the
Oh,
state
you can pimp yourself. You can pimp yourself. Go ahead.
No. Well, the draw is happening right now. You can apply for all of the fall tags up until mid-May. If you want to get a spring bear tag, you should. The application is now, and it goes until the end of, I think, the first week of February, somewhere in there. But you may as well just
this
do it now.
This podcast's probably going to come out after that. So
okay, hopefully you
next year, get spring bear next year.
Buy your point for next year.
There we go.
Yeah.
Are there any over-the-counter opportunities for elk and deer in Oregon? Lots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots on the west side of the state.
Okay.
So there are over-the-counter blacktail tags, archery Roosevelt elk, which hunting over there is a jungle. Good luck. Steep and thick.
Nice.
But there's rosies and blacktails, and there's actually rifle rosy and blacktail tags too that are over the counter. Of course, turkey, both fall and spring, bear, lion.
And if they choose you as Hunt Oregon, they're like, nah, we don't want any of this public stuff. We want a good private land guide. Where can I get information about Hunt Oregon?
Yeah, so you can definitely reach out to me. I've always got my work cell on me. We have a website. It's huntoregonllc.com. We've got a little inquiry thing on there, or you can just email me at huntoregonllc@gmail.com. From there, if you're interested, I'll put my cell number out. I'm not gonna.
No, don't do that, please.
I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of me, and we are booking now. As of today,
you still got availability this fall?
Very limited.
Very limited.
Only a few cow hunts available. Bucks and bulls are spoken for through next year.
2027 open, or that's closed too?
That's unfortunately closed. But cow hunts, yes, we can definitely do cows. If you were to draw a spring bear tag in one of the units we guide in, we've got availability for that. And there's always upland birds. So if you like chuckers, huns, pheasants, quail, we can make that happen too.
And turkeys.
We've got thunder chickens.
I am afflicted with that disease, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely freaking love it. And look, before I hit that Oregon Mount Emily unit, I hadn't really elk hunted in the archery. I'd elk hunted once with archery elk, but I'd never been in the full-on rut. Oh, and because I love turkey hunting, what they were telling me is that elk hunting is like turkey hunting on steroids. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, well, I love turkey hunting. And it was legitimately exactly the same, but on steroids. Like you drive around, stop, make your calls, hear the response. All right, get positioned, move, call. You know,
You get them to about the same range, too.
yeah. If they work out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, okay, get back in your vehicle, get back on your legs or your horse, go find another one.
Yeah, and there's honestly a ruddy bull, I think, is not as smart as a tom turkey sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
I've worked so hard on some of my turkey hunts, like both my personal and the ones I'm guiding, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm doing this for a bird. Like, what is going on?
No, you're doing it for an amazing turkey, not just
Yes.
not just a pea-brained animal, which it is, but for some reason it outsmarts us.
Yeah, they've got some crazy good vision. Yeah, they can see everything. But it's a good time, and I'd be happy to help, even if you've just got questions about hunting in Oregon. I'm not biased. I can help point you in the right direction, even if it's not with us. Just happy to help hunters out and
Cool.
help with opportunity. I know it can be a little intimidating hunting in different states, but Oregon's pretty approachable as far as like cost and whatnot goes.
Amazing. HuntOregonLLC.com if you want more information about Hunt Oregon, Hannah, or anything. So go check it out. Hannah, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe we won't wait until this long to do another one. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
We'll restrict it maybe 6 months time versus a year, right?
That's fair. That's
All
fair.
right.
6 months is solid.
All right. Hopefully our paths bump into each other this show season or during the year. Okay.
Yeah, you should check out one of our shows up here. We've got a few going on.
Oh, maybe we should do that. All right. Ciao.
See ya.